They wanted to show how rich Teju and Sam became, but their house was so big. And all the things we are seeing in this movie, I wonder if the makers actually wanted to put in there. Yeah, I will give it a 5.5 just because of the jumpiness. I think
How much? Hey guys, this is Beni.
And this is Dhru, and today we are going to do a movie review about Man of God. It's already on Netflix, and our review is going to be with spoilers. So if you have not watched the movie, go ahead and watch it on Netflix before you watch this review. So in terms of the four characters, I would say Sam was really great with what he was given. The actor was phenomenal. Rekia was pretty good as well. She was this chill best friend, friends with benefits. I thought she was really cool. Joy had a small section in it, but I think she was very believable, very beautiful girl. My favorite actually is Teju because she's the most believable, from being his college friend to transitioning all the way to another aspect of their lives much later in their lives. I almost believed that I saw her through all of that, even though it was a cut to that part where they all of a sudden are married. I also want to say that the choice of the child actor was really good. I felt like, yes, that was that child who grew up to become Sam.
If you talk about the characters, it's a story of Samuel and his relationship with four women. And he's the black sheep of the family, a rebel. He's not really into church and being a man of God. Actually, if you see the whole movie, we find that he's anything but a man of God.
When you say he is anything but a man of God, but to me, philosophically speaking, God created everybody. You know, even if you're, as they say, sinner, you are still a man of God. And the other thing is this actor, he's very charismatic. But I'll say this is his first movie. He's a YouTuber, actually.
I had no idea about that. Wow.
Yeah, he's so good.
The character of Samuel is really interesting because he's searching for what he wants to do. Joy is the one he wants, and she's the one who's elusive, something out of his reach, and actually something that if he wanted joy, he would have to go back to the ways that his father would have wanted to.
He wants joy in his real life.
Right.
He's looking for joy. Like not just the girl, not just the girl.
Metaphorical.
Yeah, he's looking for happiness in his life, and it's always evasive. You know, this is up to the interpretation of the viewer, but maybe it reminds him of his dad in a good way. He's like, I don't know why I can't even speak in front of her because she's not my type.
Well, the reason I feel that Sam actually is drawn to her is what you stated as well, but I feel that he feels that she is the best version of him. You know, what his father would have wanted him to be like. That's the appeal because that's what he cannot achieve himself to be, and she is that.
That's a very good point because in one of the letters he writes to her, I'm broken and you're perfect.
It's funny that how his father was a man of God, but his ways were not those of God. You know, God is always associated with love, and his father he used the stick instead of love to transform his son. So again, that is also a reference to man of God, that this is not how a man of God should be. Right.
Yeah, that's another thing I think is brilliant about the movie is that they are not afraid to show these sides of a topic like this, because religious topics are always very sensitive. They did show that his father's ways. They also showed how greedy some church people are and how these organizations work, where it is church is so much big money that not everybody is really a man of God, as they say. It's a big business. I don't know if I've seen many movies that explore this aspect of the life of pastors and their wives and infidelity and money laundering.
You know, in the beginning, the first time Samuel comes across Zach, he just instantly dislikes him because he knows that he's a good guy and
he's a good match for Joy.
Yes. And so he says, did you notice how he's a fake guy, you know, a fake pastor? I mean, eventually what we see is that Zach is the true guy. He says that if I wanted to continue with the church and all, I would have had to make it into a business and just ask for money and all that. And that's not what I wanted to do. It wasn't what church was to me. Whereas that is exactly what Samuel gets into church for.
The movie also shows you don't have to be designated as a man of God to be a man of God. Zach, in this case, was a man of God, really, because
Yes.
maybe he was not pursuing God, but he was living by kindness. He was living by authenticity. He and Joy had a beautiful relationship. Later, they come up again. Joy and Zach face with Sam again. Joy is still very loyal. Like, she's sorry for how Sam felt, but she's still so loyal with Zach. And Zach is also so understanding. They're both good looking. They're both good people. They have differences, but they're willing to work it out. Like, they have the most beautiful, perfect relationship. As opposed to if Joy would have been with Sam, it wouldn't have been that. What I do also want to mention is the brother, the scene with the brother. That was one of the most impressive, most authentic, most beautiful scenes in the movie. Confrontation is not easy. That's why Sam never went back to his home. He just didn't want to deal with it. And you keep putting it off and off and off and off until one of your parents dies and you are like, oh, there is a face off. I think it's his younger brother. And then there is a meltdown.
This scene with the brother, and when he asked him why, why did you do all this? Why didn't you come back? Why didn't you reply? Why didn't you give our mother a chance or anything, whatever? He just asked why, and Sam has no answer. But when he's confronted by Teju with why, maybe that's when he realizes that, he's just miserable and he wants to be happy. Sam has always, fortunately, amazingly, always found women who are giving to him.
I think why Teju is attracted to a guy like that, or even why Joy was attracted, because some women want to save someone.
That's like filling holes. That's just how it works. That's why being sensible, educated, well brought up, even then women like these, they fall for guys like Sam.
In my head, I was like, thank God Joy had a little bit of a long distance to come to her senses and not be with this dude.
Yes.
So I really loved that pretty much all throughout the movie, he never redeemed himself. I love, first of all, exploration of gray characters. I think that's amazing. And the movie brilliantly showed, okay, Sam achieved so much in life, and yet he was never able to find joy. The movie beautifully shows that if you don't internalize and think about your problems and solve them within you, no matter what you do in the external world, that yes, many problems drive you to do very good in the external world, but it will not solve for your lack of happiness or contentment or joy. Beautifully done, the shot where, okay, it's been so many years, he's married to Teju, and one day he's dreaming, he wakes up to see Joy beside him and imagining that they are uniting. But that's a metaphor to me of his soul becoming a better version of itself that he never became, that his father wanted him to become.
Rekia, she tried to keep on telling him to drop school, and on the other hand, eventually Teju, she gets him into church, doing what he does not want to do. So both of these women are actually pulling him in what they think is the correct direction, But for him, neither this was good and neither was that good, because that's not what his calling was. I mean, both of the options were wrong for him.
There are all these stories which we feel the pressure of in our lives, stories of people who are driven, who know what they want to do, but there's so many people in the world who don't know what they want to do, who don't know what they like. And that's the truth. Someone once said that if you don't make your own decisions, someone else will make them for you.
The character development for all of the characters was good, but somewhere in between you find some breaks, like for example, where they suddenly show Teju and Sam to be married. Again, why Joy left Sam in the first place? Till the end of the movie, we don't see a perfect reason that this was the point of time or this was the exact reason why she leaves it.
This movie, to me, felt like a summary of a movie than a movie. In fact, to the point where you said that they didn't show why Joy left, I actually loved that they didn't, because in real life, you may never know. Just like how Sam was pretty much negative for the most part, I liked that fact as well. Speaking of Sam being negative for the most part, if the movie would have ended with Sam getting arrested, I would have loved it. But then they had to put in a small segment of Sam, being a change man and going to his dad, giving you no context in the movie, because this is Sam's story. So that's why we should have gotten that context, that okay, they gave you no context of what he went through to become a changed man. But also in that scene, I do feel like when Sam got out with the beard and stuff, oh my God, he's such a good actor. I could not recognize him. When Joy and Sam got together, it was very out of character from my perspective, for Joy to do that, because Joy had seen Sam with Rekya. If Joy was that much of a woman of God, why didn't she even question him? I think she also gauged that Teju liked Sam, and Teju was a real good friend, and yet he went for Sam. And I don't know if that's what the makers were going for, but that gave me the impression that Joy is a very opportunist individual, and she knows what's good for her, and she knows what she likes, and she goes for it. And that's why, it made sense that she got married to Zach, because Zach was hot. Zach didn't necessarily look like a priest, but there are many priests in the US that are very jacked. So Zach was just very gorgeous for me to think of him in a priestly manner, but maybe that's me more than him. I don't know. They wanted to show how rich Teju and Sam became, but their house was so big. It was too big to be believable.
He says that my mother named me Samuel, right? Samuel is a prophet's name, and I'm nothing like a prophet, right? I have this theory that, people are either exactly like their name or exact opposite of their name.
See, movie making is like an artist creating art. And all the things we are seeing in this movie, I wonder if the makers actually wanted to put in there. Like an artist is a channel of, they say, God. And I've always wondered about this question. And that's the beauty about this, as you said. I think I liked a lot more of the movie than I disliked it. I feel like maybe it is an issue with the writing, the jumpiness of the story. When you have this grand project in your head and you're writing, but you have to consolidate it in a little bit. So you summarize. And that's what I felt, that maybe there was an issue with this beautiful story having to be told in this amount of time. So how would you rate this movie out of 5 stars?
I loved it. I'll go and give it a 4.5.
Yeah, I will give it a 5.5 just because of the jumpiness. I think
how much?
Oh, sorry, 3.5. So yeah, just because of the jumpiness of the story, I think otherwise the movie was a really brilliant concept, psychologically speaking, culturally speaking. All right, guys, so if you liked our video, please subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon so that you're notified every time we upload a new video. We usually do that on Tuesdays. And let us know how we are doing. Let us know in the comment section. And share it with friends. Like our video. Again. All right. Until next time, Fir Milenge.
Fir Milenge.